Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing my video predictions for The Walking Dead Season 3, Episode 4, which is called The Killer Within. Now, there's only two quick little previews up for this episode. The first one is a sort of sneak peek, they call it, which is about a minute long, a minute to a minute and a half. And it's pretty uneventful. It's basically nothing. It's Glenn and Maggie. I'll put it in the description, link in the description. Coming out of a watchtower that they had spent the night in, and Daryl kind of making a funny little pun for a second. So it's kind of fun to watch, but it doesn't really tell us much about the episode. Rick is talking about cleaning up the courtyard, so to speak, of the prison and where to move the cars around, possibly if they have to leave in a hurry or maybe for defenses to fortify the gate, that kind of stuff. So that one doesn't really give us too much details on what we can expect for this episode. The other one, which is called the promo, which I'll also put in the description, is only 37 seconds long, but it actually gives us more details on what we can expect to see. We have essentially a couple different scenes of Rick's group. There's one of Michonne and the governor as well, with the governor basically asking Michonne to be one of his soldiers and knowing that she would make a really good soldier and all that kind of stuff, like I mentioned in my review yesterday, even though people wanted to argue with me. Not much to really argue about now. I mean, obviously the governor sees people, and if he's going to keep them alive and he's going to keep them around, he's going to do it for a reason. Otherwise, he'll just kill them just like he did with the Marines and these other type of people. Michonne, he probably sees her as being highly intelligent, using her pet walkers to mask her scent, camouflage, so to speak, to blend in, and obviously with her sword, surviving on her own for all that time, he's got to be impressed, and he's got to see her as a valuable asset as a warrior and want to keep her around for that. Andrea, probably for other reasons. You guys know what I'm talking about. And that there's a little bit of a sneak peek of them sort of having a drink again and looking like something's going to happen there. Although this isn't really a romance series, but you know, with them, it seems like that's kind of the way they're going. Certain characters, they kind of make that happen with, if you know what I'm saying. Same with Glenn and Maggie. Not always that interesting, but whatever. You got to go through it to get the good stuff. And then Rick's group is actually the group that seems like is going to be having a lot of the action this episode. Somebody is, as Rick says, is playing games with them, cracking open the gate, letting walkers in. Doing all kinds of different things, messing with the group quite a bit. And at 27 seconds of the promo, which is in the description, if you go there, pause it 27 seconds, you see a really skinny guy put what looks to be like some kind of meat or something down, okay, outside, looks like in the courtyard type area. And if you pause it, which I have done, of course, because I'm such a big Walking Dead geek that I would do that. You can see the hand of African-American male, really skinny, doesn't look like the one, excuse me, I've forgotten his name. There's Axel, and then there's another guy. Is it Oscar? Maybe that's his name. I don't remember from the other episodes, the African-American male who is still alive. It doesn't look like him. It looks like it could be Andrew, though. And who Andrew is, if you guys don't remember, from the first episode of the season, second episode of the season, sorry, not the first. Rick chases him into the courtyard and locks him out into a small section with walkers all around, and then we hear him scream and yell, and Rick kind of just closes it. Doesn't really make sure he's dead, though. It seems like he was killed. It looks like it quite a bit. But just looking at this pause frame at 27 seconds of the video, I'd say it's probably him. Somehow he must have gotten out, that type of thing. Or there's another person who survived at the prison or right around the prison that maybe was on their own, or maybe a couple people, 2 or 3 maybe, and maybe we'll find out about that in the next episode. I'd lean more towards Andrew, though, because that wrist is really, really skinny, and the hand is really, you know, really skinny too, as well as the feet. It looks really small compared to the ground and everything. You can see what I mean by clicking in the description and going to 27 seconds. So, he's probably the same character who was watching Carol in the last episode as well, when she was doing her autopsy on the walker or whatever. So most likely it's him, although it could be, you know, it could be somebody else that was just around that wasn't a part of their group or got separated from the group, or another inmate in the prison. Very possible too. But it just seems like that would make sense that, you know, because he did scream and stuff, but you know, I'd have to listen to it again. It did seem a lot like he was getting bitten. It sounded like he was getting bitten, but, you know, unless you see it, it's always the rule, right? Unless you see the death, it doesn't count in any story, pretty much. So I think that it'll probably be him. Make a prediction that it will be Andrew. But I could definitely see it being somebody else that's just at the prison and was maybe trapped in another section or something, another block, or, you know, and now the walkers are dead, has come outside and started to mess with this group a little bit. Maybe another inmate or something. It doesn't look like there's going to be a Thomas in the TV show at all, who was in the comic books, which makes sense because if they put a Thomas character in, those of you guys who haven't read the comic books, spoilers if you do want to, stop watching if you do want to, and you haven't yet. I mean, at this point, you probably would have read this part. But this character named Thomas essentially says he's in the prison for tax evasion, and as it turns out, it's actually he's actually like a murderer, kills women, preys on women, serial killer type thing. And in the comic book series, he kills Herschel's daughters. He has 2 twin daughters, I think, or they look very similar. And, you know, sort of like it's a surprising moment. So obviously in the TV series, they're not going to do the same thing, because if they did that, it wouldn't surprise us. We'd be like, okay, well, yeah, we already knew that was going to happen. So it's probably going to be somebody else, or maybe, you know, have it be someone we haven't seen yet. So one of the two. So that's my predictions for that. Do I think it could be? Some people brought up they thought maybe it was Merle who was messing with them or was watching Carol. I don't think so, especially now that we know that, you know, Merle was in the last episode with that. And in terms of time, it seems like that's happening at the same time as, you know, what's going on with these characters now, Rick's group now. So I'd say you can rule out Woodbury. I don't think it's anybody from Woodbury. Probably not. Most likely not. And it seems like that's probably all what the episode is going to be about, is about that character messing with them and, you know, letting the walkers in, probably get some good action and that kind of stuff, defending the prison, trying to find whoever it was. It'll probably end up being Andrew, and we'll get to see some more character development from the governor's side. Should be a great episode next week. The Killer Within. There's no real synopsis, or it's not very good. The one I have here says, the group is severed and lives are put in jeopardy. In Woodbury, Merle has a request for the governor. So what can we tell from that? Merle has a request. I don't know. I mean, who knows? Maybe you go to the farm to look for Daryl. Maybe that could happen. Maybe the group at the prison is split up due to somebody. Maybe a character in the group will die. I've always thought Beth would be the next to die, so maybe that'll be next episode. It would be exciting, or maybe it'll be at some point down the line. Anyway, that's it for this video, guys. It's Trev, saying peace.